Teachers across the country have been walking out of classrooms demanding better wages and more school funding.
Look right at the camera, you're going to be speaking to them.
Okay.
Now, as teachers in Oklahoma count down to the last week of school, many have decided to walk out again. This time, for good.
Still good. Okay. Oh, I don't even know how to put it. There you go.
When I first started teaching, it was, I call it the golden age of teaching.
I had such high expectations.
So I was one of those teachers I wanted to save the world.
If you skip forward to this last year that I spent in the classroom, we virtually have no money to spend whatsoever.
I mean, it's impossible to teach art on a $0 budget.
As a teacher, you're pressured all the time to have your kids ready for college or ready for their future career.
It's really difficult for them to be successful with all the barriers that are being put into place.
We've been years without proper funding in our state, and it shows.
Bathrooms with no doors, leaky roofs, chairs that are falling apart, old textbooks.
It's gotten worse in that you're not just cutting the extra stuff, you're starting to cut the critical things that you need to actually function as a school.
We're expected to do more and more for less.
Larger class sizes.
Class sizes, classroom sizes,
Class sizes, class sizes.
Class sizes.
I don't know of any other position that you're expected to take on almost 4 times the workload with no additional compensation, and it makes it quite difficult.
Almost everyone I know has a second job or a second way to bring in income.
I had a job working at a Sears that worked on the weekends and 2 12-hour days, so that's 24 hours in the tool department. But then after school, I would do janitor work on 5 days a week, and I'd do that. And in the meantime, my wife, who was also a teacher, was working at Bath and Body Works in the mall. So together we had 5 jobs.
I worked at the Loft,
A bike shop, Postmates,
Bartender,
grocery stores.
You get tired of not having a life at all.
It's pretty sad.
You kind of just feel like really undervalued and underappreciated.
And then we reached this breaking point. To me, it was a breaking point of this year with the walkout.
The walkout, the walkout, the walkout.
The walkout started as a grassroots effort.
The culmination of years of frustration on the part of teachers. In terms of the legislature not funding our schools, not respecting our teachers enough to, we haven't had a raise in 10 years.
We get paid monthly, and it has gone up less than $300 total in 16 years.
That's pretty unheard of in any profession.
We set our demands. We wanted a $10,000 teacher raise over 3 years. We wanted a $5,000 raise for support staff over 3 years, and we wanted funding restored to our classrooms on a permanent basis, not year to year.
All of the teachers in our district were a part of it in one way or another. It was like this super hopeful environment. Like we were all down there, we were all together working for the same thing. The atmosphere was good. We felt like we had a lot of support.
The legislature basically laughed in our faces.
Probably the thing that bothered me most about what the legislators had said, one representative we talked to, when we asked him point blank if he supported public education, refused to answer that question, when the #1 employer in his area was public education. That was the most offensive one.
As the walkout continued, it sort of felt like all that hope was just drained away.
They repealed some of the money that they had passed for education right before the walkout happened. And when we got to the last day of the walkout and the Oklahoma Education Association said we were going back to the classroom, hearts were just broken.
It was very heartbreaking to see that.
I couldn't believe that we were going to walk away not only without getting what we wanted, but with even less than we started with.
I thought that, with the raise and the money going to education, that I don't need a lot of extra money. I just need, enough to work one job. And I thought that was going to be my out, and I would be able to stay.
I didn't officially decide to resign until after the walkout.
Ultimately, I had to make a choice.
So I need to go. I just need to get out.
Feels like it's the end of the road.
I couldn't do it anymore. There's no other way to say it. I just couldn't do it anymore.
I'm leaving the classroom because I believe that it's what's best for my family.
the kind of teaching that I am passionate about is not there anymore.
I feel like I've done the best I can do with what I have to work with, and I don't like to settle for average.
My new job is actually my part-time job that offered me a full-time position. I will be doing title work for buying or closing on houses, and I will only have to work one job.
I'm going to work for an international organization that supports music education.
I have been offered a job in Abu Dhabi at a private school teaching 9th and 10th grade English.
Next year, I will be working at an oil and gas brokerage.
I will have vacation, and it's just a normal corporate job.
Next year, I will be working as a program manager for a literacy nonprofit.
I have decided to move into a federal agency that is on the ground helping folks who are in great deal of need.
What I'll be doing is assembling natural gas compressors.
I'm working with an insurance company selling life insurance long-term care.
I am leaving this school year to move to China because I feel more valued as an educator, and I'll make 3 times the money that I make in the state of Oklahoma.
Packing up my classroom, telling my kids goodbye, explaining to parents that I'm moving on, encouraging my fellow coworkers to keep at it as I'm leaving them. Been very hard.
I felt really guilty, a huge amount of guilt.
Guilt.
It's a lot of guilt.
The guilt that I feel.
It was really surprisingly heavy.
I feel like crying right now just even talking about it.
Is really hard. It's really hard for me to make a decision that feels selfish, to leave them when they need me the most.
Every single sign pointed to leave, and no sign pointed to stay.
I'm a crier. I didn't want to end up looking back 30 years thinking I wish I had made a decision for myself and for my family a long time ago.
I want better for my own child. And I wish the community was more supportive of teachers, and to make that happen. It shouldn't be a battle between inside of you, whether you care about your own family or the families of others.
Every person I've told that I'm leaving, they all say the very same thing. Congratulations. That's terrible. It's terrible.